Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're reviewing a Range Rover Sport. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover here in Lehi, Utah for giving me some time with this Range Rover Sport. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, need any help, just ask for Jordan. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 3-liter inline-6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 26 on the highway, with power outputs being 355 horsepower and then 365 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see that minimalist is the name of the game with the design here. That's why you don't have like a ton of stuff happening right there. And then even these little accent pieces, again, very minimalist with the look. And then notice this actually does have paint protection film on the front end. And then we've got a Range Rover logo down below. And then the headlights are pretty flush here with the grille. And you can see that theme continues down below, except for this piece right here at the bottom. But putting it all together, it definitely has that Range Rover Sport appearance where it just has like a very large front end, or at least tall front end is a good way to put it. Now our tire and wheel setup here is 285, 40, 23 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see with the wheels, you got the silver mixed with the metallic gray. I think that looks really sharp. Also the brake caliper is also painted silver. And then with the fenders here, you guys can see a softer line. And then again, the accent piece, minimalist with the design there. Blacked out mirror cap, which I think looks really good. And then the pillar here is also blacked out. And then we got the pop out door handles. And then here is a full side view with the Sport. Now take a look at the key fob. We have our lock and unlock function. We got this to turn on the lights, that's to open up the hatch, and then we have the Land Rover logo on the back. And popping into the rear, you can see we've got a cargo cover built in from the factory. We have a little charging port down below and got a little cargo net. And then this is to raise and lower the rear suspension to make accessing this a little bit easier. This is for the seats. And I like how with the Land Rovers you get this cool little bucket, I guess we'll call it, with all the stuff in it. I don't know, I think that's just fun. Anyways, when you're all done, just press this button and that will lower the hatch right back down. Really cool effect here with the tail lights, and you guys can see Range Rover there on the back and then Land Rover down below and then Sport on the side. And then the covers over the exhaust tips are very interesting. And putting it all together, let me know your thoughts on the overall design here with the Range Rover Sport. Now taking a look at the door panel, soft touch here at the top, and then I like this trim that goes over the speaker. It's really cool. And then more soft touch down below with the stitching. And then we do have a little seat adjustment here, window control. And look at the finish on that, really nice. And speaking of really nice, look at these seats perforated all down the center portion. And even this part has nice trim. Now legroom here in the back is really good. We have a little storage thing right there. We've got our own climate zone here in the back, which is another nice feature. And we've got really nice looking grab handles as well. And by the way, these seats are very comfortable. Oh, and then headroom, it's good. Now take a look at the front door panel again, soft touch here, and then look at the trim down below. And then even right here with the wood, I love the look there. Anyways, more soft touch trim, all of our window controls. And notice with the seat adjustments, how the memory seat functions built into that. And we have all of our controls here for the mirrors. They do power fold in. They also have blind spot monitoring. And then take a look at the front seat again, perforated all down the center portion. And then, yeah, pretty normal pedals on this. Got that to open up the hatch. And then nice soft touch trim here on the dash at the very top as well. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you can see we've got this cool two-tone design with the black on the wheel portion. And then you've got the white around the airbag cover. Paddle shifters in the back for the 8-speed automatic. We also have adaptive cruise control. We've got controls for center stack, volume, and voice command controls all built in, which is really cool. And then you guys can see we've got the regular stocks there on the back. Full digital gauge cluster here, which we can use to scroll through different menus, and you can also change how the display looks. And I like how this is built into the dash. Sorry about the glare there. But yeah, you can just kind of see how the unit's built in. It looks nice. Now in reverse, you can see we've got the 360 camera system. So you've got that bird's eye view, we've got the view out the back, and we even have an off-road mode. You can see the trajectory on turn with the steering wheel. But yeah, pretty cool setup overall. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, it responds very, very quickly. I think it's one of the most responsive in the car industry, and you've got the cool air quality fixer right there. But yeah, really easy to use, and you've got the nice shortcut bar. And you know, even though this kind of has more of like a tablet look in terms of, you know, not being a part of the dash, I don't think it messes with the design. Again, with that soft touch trim on the dash, you can see it all across, and then with the vents down below, and then more soft touch here. And this still does have the double glove box, which I feel like the Range Rovers are famous for. Obviously, it's practical from a storage perspective, but yeah, the fin finish in here is really tight too, I'm noticing. And then we do have a dual zone climate system here. As you can see, pretty easy to use the whole system. And if I push in, notice that'll be for the seats. It looks like this one has heated and cooled seats, which is definitely a nice thing. And then if you pull out, you can see you can go to the fan speed. So the multi-function controls are definitely a nice feature. And then our shifter just behind that, got your engine stop start, and then an analog volume control. And then I like how the drive mode select dial pops up, and then you can see we've got a couple on-road modes and then mostly off-road modes. That's just kind of what Range Rovers are all about. And then we do have hill descent control. We've got some more storage here. It's also cup holders if you want to use it like that. And this one actually has the cooling box. It's another nice feature. And then soft touch here on the top. And then we do have our controls here for the panoramic sunroof, lighter colored headliner, by the way. And then this leads us into the window sticker section. So you can see the standard equipment, including the air suspension and everything. And then this does have a few options. There's your base MSRP 83,000. So yeah, not too much added to it, but this is what is surprising, 93,655. It's less money than you'd think considering all the equipment. We'll talk about that more during the driving. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, just do a blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And let us set off in the Sport. And I have got some pretty big open onions in today's video because I am probably going to blow all of your minds. Maybe, we'll see. So first off, seats in this are incredibly comfortable. I think that every single, and I mean every single, luxury automaker or brand that is trying to sell a car as a, you know, premium luxury car should go and sit in the seats in a Range Rover Sport or in a full-size Range Rover, because these seats are like perfection in my opinion. Now, there is a little bit of a downside. The seats are super open. Now, despite that, they actually, like, I don't feel like I would slide around, which is surprising. But if you want, like, I could see someone wanting maybe a little bit more side bolstering, just feel a little bit more tight in place if they're in like a sportier vehicle. But anyways, the reason why is it's just the comfort paired with, like, I don't know, just everything with these seats, it's perfect. It's like they've struck a really good balance that I feel like a lot of automakers fail with. Either their seats are just too squishy where you feel like your back's gonna hurt after a while because you're just sinking into it, or the seats are just too firm. And this is just, it's perfect. Seriously, go sit in one of these and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Ride quality is also really good. Despite the fact that this has 23-inch wheels, the air suspension helps out with smoothing things out quite a bit. I'm trying to get this climate control to go down. I'm like, I do not want the warm. And it's smooth too. Now, I've noticed that Land Rover has put out different tunes with this powertrain now, where you've got like a tune that has like low 300s for the horsepower, and this is like mid 300s. And then you have the one that is in my my wife and I's Defender, which is like 400 horsepower, almost is 395. I can't really perceive a difference between the powertrains. They all feel the same to me. I feel like they're saying that they have different powers on paper, but then they're just putting the same exact tune in every single... I just what I'm noticing, but you know, I'm sure there's actually a difference. It's just hard to perceive one, if that makes sense. But in terms of this inline six for the Range Rover Sport, it's great. The full size, you know, I feel like it is pushing it a little bit. It's not bad, but it is pushing a little bit. But the Sport's small enough that it doesn't feel lackluster. It feels really strong. But obviously you can get a V8 in the Sport, but that is going to set you back quite a bit more money. So pros and cons. And the fuel economy, it's not bad in the V8, but it's not as good as what you're going to get here in this inline six. So I guess we'll get an acceleration and then we'll sum things up. It's so comfortable. Yeah, I mean, I just drove my wife's Defender yesterday for like 3+ hours and I don't really notice a difference with the acceleration. So to cap things off with this Range Rover Sport, I am going to say this, and I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me. I think this is an absolute bargain, because the thing about Range Rover is you get a lot of like tech that on the surface, like, it's hard to tell the difference between this and some other automakers, but like once you actually drive the vehicle, you understand like with how much better the ride quality is in this compared to like a BMW or an Audi. And then the seat comfort and just this interior, again, the minimalist design, I think it goes a long way. And the materials, just like how they feel and look, it's a really nice experience. This feels more premium than, I would say it feels more premium than an Audi and a BMW. And Mercedes, you could make an argument for Mercedes with feeling just as premium as this. And so that's why I feel like it's a bargain. It's not as expensive, at least this version of the Sport is not as expensive as you might think it would be, considering how premium this feels and the driving experience that it provides. I think this is probably the best luxury SUV for under $100,000 in the market today, for everything that it provides at the price point. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know what you think about the Range Rover Sport. And let me know if you think it needs a V8. I'd say that the inline 6, it gets the job done, that's for sure.